guys! So many times people have asked me to do a one brand tutorial and the most requested have to be MUA and ELF. Well, I haven't managed to collect enough stuff from MUA to actually do a one brand tutorial for them. I still have to get a couple more steps filled in from them that I actually like using. Or that just kind of appeal to me, because that is the toughest part. And I've tried things from ELF before and not liked them. So I've had kind of concealers in the past that I've disliked, I've had powders, etc, etc. And now I've kind of got some things together. Some of these things are new to me, but I've kind of tested them on my hand or whatever else, and decided that they'd be good for the look. And so I finally got enough stuff together to make a one brand tutorial, and this is the first one I'm going to film. So if you like this video, please let me know, give it a thumbs up, and tell me in the comments below what you would like to see in this kind of vein in the future. So this is the look that I did. It's kind of an everyday look. I didn't want to go too kind of out there with these particular looks, because I thought this is more, the whole point of it is to show you the stuff that you could be wearing on an everyday basis. But if you want to see kind of more dramatic looks or more kind of party looks, then let me know. And yeah, here is the video. Okay, first of all, I'm going to use this Flawless foundation, and it is in the shade Porcelain. Now, I must admit, most of the colours from the ELF kind of base range are a little bit too dark for me. So even this one is a little bit deeper than I would kind of choose from a shade range. However, I believe it is the palest shade. So I'm going to put this on and then we will move on to concealer. I'm going to actually buff it in with this powder brush, also from ELF, and this is from the Studio line. The concealer that I'm going to use is this Cover Everything concealer, and the shade is Light. I'm going to use this one under my eyes. It is a little bit heavier than I normally would use under my eyes, but then I do have a lot of pigmentation and kind of like sun damage and things, especially around here, that I do appreciate a heavier concealer occasionally. This actually reminds me a lot of the Benefit Boing that I used to use a lot. That was my absolute staple concealer, and this is a very, very similar formula. It's it used to be called, I think, like the Heavy Duty Concealer or something, and I always used that under my eyes. The other concealer that I have here to try is the Maximum Coverage Concealer. Now this one I've never actually used before. The majority of the stuff I'm going to show you I've had for quite a while, whereas this just recently was sent to me, so I'm quite interested to try it. Just on some areas, like I've got a little blemish here, I've generally got a little bit of scarring on my chin, and so I'll use it there just to see what it really does cover up. Okay, I'm actually going to zoom in and use a little bit of this on this discoloration just here. And surprisingly, this feels lighter than the Coverall concealer. It's a much lighter consistency than I expected. You could probably get away with using that under your eyes. It feels more like a heavy duty foundation than a very, very heavy concealer. I have this tone correcting powder that I'm going to use the same powder brush with. Now this powder brush is absolutely amazing. It's multitask. You could use it for any kind of product really. You can use it for powder, or you can use it for liquid products or cream products, pretty much whatever you want. And because it buffed out the foundation so well, it hasn't really got a tremendous amount of foundation residue on the brush, so you can pretty much go straight into your powder and use it for that as well. Next, I'm going to use this HD blush, and the shade that I have is Headliner, and you only need the tiniest, tiniest bit of this. The last time I used it, I used so much more than I needed. I mean, it's the tiniest, tiniest amount. This little bottle of blush will last me a really long time. And what I do is I spread it out a little bit with my finger first of all, because if you dipped your brush straight into that, it would just be too much. And then I just stipple a little bit on my brush and put it directly onto my cheek. And the brush that I'm using is actually from Sigma, and it's the round top kabuki, it's the F82. It's much easier to actually build this than it is to take it away. So I would definitely recommend a little at a time. Once you're happy with your rosy glow, you can go back in with this Wonder Brush and kind of blend any lines or anything just you think is a little bit patchy or it's pretty difficult to work with cream and liquid blushes. So it is really handy to have something that you can kind of buff out that's a relatively clean brush. Now I'm going to use a powder bronzer, and the reason I didn't use it before is because I find that the more products that you put on prior to cream products, the cream products kind of take them away, and so you really just want your base on first. So then I'm going to use this, which is the Cool Bronzer, and I'm just kind of going to use these two shades, the paler shades, and mix them together. And I'm going to use this small stippling brush and just warm up my cheeks a little bit, take it onto my temples and kind of contour. I'm not big on contouring, but when using a smaller brush like this, it is a little bit easier to use your bronzer to contour. You could of course use this brush for your blush if it is liquid or cream as well. However, I just prefer this. It's a little bit sturdier. It's a bit more like applying it with a sponge. And if you do struggle with applying liquid blushes, then I think this is more going to be something that you can work with. Whereas this, for me, there's a little bit more room for error, and I prefer this with powder products. I'm going to take the same brush and I'm going to go into this, which is Glow, which is one of the cheaper lined blushes from e.l.f. and this will just give me a really nice highlight on top of what I already have. It doesn't offer a tremendous amount of colour, it does kind of look a little bit peachy, but it has this golden sheen to it that's, you get more of the sheen than you do the actual peach colour. So I'm just going to add that to wherever I want to highlight. And now we're going to move on to eyes. I'm going to use this eyelid primer, which I believe the colour is Sheer. Just the littlest bit, and then I'm going to blend it out with my fingers. Then I'm going to use this baked eyeshadow. I'm not entirely sure what the colour is, but if I can find out, I will link it in the info bar below. These eyeshadows work just as well wet, if not better, because they actually come off a lot stronger. Because they are baked, they are designed to be used that way. The brush that I used was the e.l.f. Professional Shadow Brush. Next, I'm going to use this Flawless Eyeshadow Quad, and what I really like about this is it's got your base, lid, crease, and liner if you want to use it that way. I'm actually going to use this paler shade on top for my brow bone, and I'm actually going to line and do my crease with the liner shade. I'm going to go back in with that same brush with the base shade. And just blend it so there's no line of where that previous shadow stops. I'm going to use this Professional Eye Crease brush to go in my crease, and I'm using this deep liner shade. Now because my eyes are hooded, I actually do my crease higher than my crease, otherwise you wouldn't actually be able to see what I'm doing. But obviously if that's not the case for you, then you can go into your actual socket of your eye. And I'm going to go back in again with that base shade just to blend the two together, just to blend that line. I'm going to use this Professional eyeliner brush with the liner shade just to go underneath my eyes. And I have this brush from Sigma that I'm going to use with this Coffee Gel Liner. I'm using my 3-in-1 Lengthen, Define and Volumize mascara. I really like the brush on this because it catches every single lash and then it has a little ball of bristles on the end, which means that you can get into corners of your eyes and you can do your bottom lashes all with the same brush. So that's pretty much everything, but I'm going to finish up with this matte lip colour, which I think is called Tea Rose. Again, I haven't got it here on the packaging, but I'm fairly certain that that is the name. And it's just in a crayon form. fact, I'm going to zoom in. You can't really see it. Given how close this is to my natural lip colour, I think this is going to be something that I'm going to wear a lot. But this is my kind of basic everyday look with e.l.f. products. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you request more from different brands. It is pretty tough to get together every single step of a makeup look from one individual brand because I'm such a lover of so many different drugstore brands. But I did manage to collect together enough to make this video, so fingers crossed I can get some more. If you'd like to see a specific brand, leave a comment below, and I will see you guys in my next video.